Morning, sir. I'm doing great. Yourself? Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Here's my card.
Okay.
And here's information on our maintenance plan.
All right.
I understand I'm here to do some maintenance on your heating
basically
system.
just a look over sort of thing, and then we have questions. Would you like to come into the basement? Would you feel better about that?
Well, let's see what you got going on first.
All right, sure.
Let me just throw on these booties. So tell me what's going on. Why am I here this morning?
Just routine maintenance.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
The burner hasn't been serviced in about 2 or 3 years. When my guys that I had been doing the job, they switched over to a different ownership. Watch your head.
Okay.
And when that happened, the fellow that I always depended on, another Corvette guy. That's what I meant, the Corvette. He retired, and I didn't feel I was getting the same kind of quality of personalized service.
Okay.
Good. All right, so it's not that old. After
No.
Hurricane Sandy,
You had it replaced.
yeah, because the water level, which you can see the mud line on the chimney, that's how high it was. I lost all my good equipment.
Wow. So
Yeah,
about 6 feet of water in the basement.
Yeah, everything was floating. I did have a milling machine, a lathe, because I did all kinds of serious metal work, but those days are gone. All right, so there it is. I don't have any trouble with it right now.
Okay.
But that's why I like to follow the maintenance program. I have the circulator set up for down here, but we're not down here enough to really worry about bringing heat into it.
Okay.
Nor am I interested in keeping it running.
Gotcha.
As we move on through the day, there are some things that I'd like to maybe have considered. We're about ready to, you're here, it says. We're about to have,
Yeah, I'm here.
we're about to have split units put in for HVAC.
Oh yeah, who's doing that?
Fellow by the name of Don. He's a local. Well, he lives in the area.
Okay, very nice.
Oriental fella.
What brand are you putting in?
Give me names.
Fujitsu, Mitsubishi?
Mitts.
Mitsubishi. Okay,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
We do a lot of those.
Yeah. I was told, and I polled. It seemed like the Mitts were a little bit more dependable than the Fujitsu.
Yeah,
It's a little
correct.
hard to get parts.
Except when you get, yeah, it's hard to get the parts.
That's a bitch.
Correct,
That's
yeah.
a bitch. Yeah. So.
But nice, cool.
Yeah. So once those units are in, both will be on the. That's the north wall. One will be in the office blowing out this way. The other one will be in the dining room blowing out. Arlene can't stand a lot of cool noise. She is so hypersensitive to stuff. It's incredible. So instead of having it over where the television is, so it's blowing on you, I said, all right, put it on the back wall. Plus, I have a walkway back there. All the plumbing, all the piping, and all that can be done. The electric is back in that corner, so
Cool.
it's painless.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that'll be happening later on in the month. Once I have that in place, and I have a feeling for what additional. Really, no worries. I just have a bunch of shit on here, so you had room to work. This house is first off, the roof doesn't have any insulation in it, so it gets fucking cold up there. And back in the days before Mom passed, I had lived up there as a teenager. Moved out when I got married. Came back when I got divorced. COVID took Mom out, and I just took
Sorry
the house.
about that.
Yeah, so, yeah, me too. But that's kind of like the way it went. Anyway, once I began living here on a regular basis, especially once I got involved with Arlene, she's been around a long time now. Who knows? Maybe we'll get married. I sincerely doubt it. It's not on her agenda, and the marriage taxes and all that suck. Anyway, the back of the house where there is not much air, where there's not much heat coming up, and we have the old coal bin behind this wall here, which I have a crawl space. So that's like an open area that just allows cold air to migrate up into the pantry, which is great for keeping things cool, but lousy for heating purposes. And I'll supplement it with the stove on the chilly days. So I've always thought about maybe a baseboard unit up there wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
And also I've thought about, as far as upstairs is concerned, there's one radiator at the far end, at the east end of the house. That's it. It usually works okay with regards to keeping the bedroom is set up. It's my man cave. But the way it worked, it was fine. Now that we're moving on, maybe it'll be worked. However, I do know a few things. Only, as I said, the guy that I had been with for a while, we were just starting to get to the point of where I was in the house long enough to know where my issues were, and we began talking about valves and things of that nature, and we had to replace one of them. Let's see. Anyway, well, you know what valves look like.
Air valves or the
air
radiator
valve,
valves that isolate and
the air valve at the end of the radiator. That's the
the
air
little
valve,
silver
right?
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the air
Yeah.
valves.
All right. So, my years ago when I was a teenager, the gal I was going with, the father was like a do all, know all, but jack of no trades, master of none, and said, "Well, try a Gorton C valve upstairs, and you'll get all the heat you need." And he was right, but because of the way it's set up, and I never did change the valve out. I don't think. Maybe I did. Anyway, I don't need that place turning into an inferno upstairs while the rest of the house freezes. What I'm trying to say is that I'd like you to look at the valves, figure out what needs to be done, maybe a bunch of adjustables all over. I did put an adjustable in the kitchen at the baseboard once, one of those big cast iron guys that are, I was told once upon a time, it's a good way to go. And when we had remodeled the house or the kitchen 25 years ago, that's what we ended up with. Anyway, so...
Sorry.
That's all right. So you're here today to review the burner, see what it
Okay.
needs, anything like that. On and off, simple enough. There's also a redundant switch right at the base of the stairs. That was something done a long time ago because my we've had this house since it was built. My great-grandmother, who had a broken hip once upon a time, had to hobble around quite a bit. And during the summer, she was flying solo and worrying about putting coming all the way down here. We arranged it so that this switch right up here.
Well, it's the emergency switch. Yeah.
Yeah, we got two of them. So
Okay.
there's one up here and there's...
Yeah, one's emergency, one's service.
All right,
That's
there you
typical.
go.
Okay.
Okay. There
So,
you go.
all right. So,
Your
so-
purpose.
gotcha. So, my purpose is you want to look at all the radiators and the boiler.
Boiler definitely. I want you just do whatever
Okay.
routine maintenance.
So, with the steam heating system, before I even get started, I'm a very observant person, individual.
Right. Okay.
The Pressuretrol is way off
Okay.
as far as settings.
Okay.
It's set at like 5 psi with a differential of 1.5.
Right.
This should be like at 1 or under 1.
Right.
And that should be at like kind of like 0.5.
Okay.
Where it is. I have to look up exactly. I see if that's a subtractive or additive Pressuretrol, but that's way off.
Okay.
However, I'm also a firm believer in things are done usually for a reason.
Right.
Whether it's done because it's piped in wrong, the boiler, because it is, right? Or it's just someone did that because they don't know any better, right? So there's a couple ways that we can approach the boiler. Now, the boiler is only from 2017, so it's not that old. You said it was serviced a few years ago, so we can just do the basic service where we could just test everything and test a low water cutoff and do a combustion and a safety test on the exhaust gases, or we could do a more detailed, no-stone-unturned approach, which is, double the price almost, but that. So if you want to go with just basic, we'll test, make sure the low water cutoff works, do a combustion analysis, print out the results, test the gas pressure, things like that. That will cost you $275.
Okay.
If you want me to do like the whole no-stone-unturned approach, where we take out the pigtail and we take out all the burners and lubricate them and clean them and all that good stuff, that's $440.
Okay.
Plus your trip charge, of course. So those are the two options I could do. If you want me to also check out the radiators, maybe you just we'll do an hourly thing and go from there. But I don't. Normally it takes about an hour to do. The basic one, and a little bit more for the other one. But I'm also quick. I don't waste time.
All right. So the second option of where you're a little more thorough on the job, that'll give you a better grip on getting this thing operating as it's supposed to be.
Not really. No, it's just more detailed.
Okay. Like pulling the igniters out, giving them a clean up,
Yes,
looking
correct.
for them, probably removing any carbon soot in the combustion box.
Yep. Vacuuming that out.
Yeah, that's, well, it is what it is, and that's what needs to be done. I think that's the wisest approach.
Okay.
And then moving forward from there. Now, when you said it's piped in wrong, I have no doubt in my mind, because what we have here is post-Sandy, build it back, install. So what the fuck can you expect from jerk off?
Well, no, they adapted to the existing piping that was there, which is all this here.
Right.
Right. But, you know, you have things leaving here right before they on this equalizer that's too small for the header that's there. So it's just wrong. Now, does it work? I don't know. You would know better than I would. It's your house, right? But it's just when there's a problem, like with distribution of the steam to certain radiators, you know, remember this, at the end of the day, when this house was built, this was a premium heating option for that homeowner.
Yes.
And a premium which came with, you know, a big chunk versus what they were going to put in with everyone else, which is a furnace, right?
Yeah.
So you best believe if you paid a premium, which was probably only like $500, right, 100 years ago, right?
Right.
That first night when that new homeowner was in this house, you best believe that everything was whisper quiet, and then the wife shoveled coal into the boiler twice a day. You best believe it was quiet.
Hang on.
Yeah, but let me
let the brains of the operation. Arlene. Hey, honey.
Where is a good place to dump water?
Right in the backyard in the grass.
Okay. Very good. How often do you drain this boiler in the winter?
Usually every couple of months.
Okay.
I try to do it once a month. Usually my telltale is, I believe the cutoff is set too high right now. That blue tape is where I used to be once upon a time. When it comes all the way up here and everything, it's a little bit beyond. Typically, it will fit. There you go. Now we got.
It would be nice if it was coming out with more volume.
A little more velocity would help. Yeah, so we know that we got some crap. Mind you, I have not yet drained it since first
last year.
It on. Yeah,
okay.
Which was rising out there.
Florida either.
Yeah. Yeah, but all you gotta do is hit the ground once and you learn.
Yeah.
What happened to me.
Correct.
And ever since then, I've been basically gun shy of the bike. So that's why the Harley isn't here no more. All I got left is my air cleaner. And that's only left because I replaced with a better unit.
Wish they would have not put it like the way they did it.
Yeah, the guy the fellow that did the work on it, his name is Keith,
Because you got a
local guy, but back in the build-a-back days, you took what you could get. There was just no personnel available, and nobody with a brain. And I don't know anything about burners other than the basic operational principles of what they do.
Yeah, I just wish they would have not put it smack up against there like that. They could have.
It would be nice to have a little bit of slack.
Yeah, and I may fix that, but I'm also trying to be cost conscious here. So
we're not replacing copper. The bottom line is going to come down to this: when it's all said and done, whatever is going to be necessary, I don't have any trouble kicking in.
Well, do I need to push this out a little bit? I don't need to, but look, by taking that off, I ended up scratching up the boiler a little bit. But is that right? Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Where is the nearest sink that I can use to clean things?
As I said, I made my living running this.
Yeah, I'm sure that was not a.
All of 14 tables. We went underwater. Border Health locked us up. We had to do everything over, and we did. We did our cold start for where you bring in your family as guinea pigs to make sure everything works right. And after that, we're ready to do our real opening. And I think it was the second Friday we were cooking. I was on my way down to the prep kitchen, which probably was very much like this. Almost 6 foot of ceiling, and to get from the main floor, an old cast iron staircase. And as I came down the staircase came off the wall, down I went, staircase on top of me, and my back, and the options were not good. Fortunately, my uncle was an orthopedic surgeon. He had been looking after me for a long time, since I was a ski bum for a while. And when you ski, you want some big tools?
Nope.
I see you're a big husky guy, but I use big stuff. Anyway, so Uncle Nate, when I was crashing down, my guys threw me in the back of the pickup truck. We wanted to take me over to the hospital. I said, no, take me to 33rd Street. Let's go see my uncle.
Wow, they actually installed it the right way. Talk about talking the ears off a brass monkey. He said in the backyard. Let's clean off the probe. Alright, I cleaned off the probe with the water. And as I commented, at least they installed it the right way. There's no Teflon tape on the threads, just a little bit of pipe dope. RTFM, read the factory manual. It says do not use Teflon tape.
I said, that's normal, that's just the way it goes. You get older and you start to get better. Everybody has it happen.
Yep.
And as it moves further down the line, describing every 10 years, he finally gets to the recent one. And he says, what now? He said, what do you think? It looks pretty close to the last one. But yeah, the whole trouble is that what you can't see is that it's three-dimensional. Your spine's been twisted. You're about 70 degrees out of whack, out of vertical. So what that means is that the nerve bundle going through your spine is stretching. So what's going to happen? He says, well, we don't do anything. He says, it'll stretch, it'll pop, and either you die, or you go paraplegic, or quadriplegic. I don't like those ideas. He says, all we can do is really crazy, fucked up surgery. That's a 3-step process, about 12, 14 hours each time we do it, and we hope for the best. I said, let's hope for the best. And he said, chances are, knowing you, he said, you're going to come out of this okay. He said, you're not going skiing, parachute jumping anymore, but basically any heavy-duty shock is going to be off the table. I said, well, then that's what we do. And here we are. So that's my story. That's why I don't do things like this anymore. That's why I don't do things like pull engines anymore. 99 to 95th.
So you grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up here.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to school down the block at 146, and I went to Brooklyn Tech.
So you have a subtractive differential on the Pressuretrol. So your Pressuretrol was set at like 5 psi, and now it's going to be set right around 1.5, and the differential is going to be set at 1. Okay. All right, keep that in mind because you may need to know that. And we're talking about psi, not.
Should I be taking notes?
Well, I'll also reference this on your invoice, but just so you know, because this does not need to be a high pressure system. Right. It's low pressure. And honestly, you know, if we could have a perfect world, you would have a Vaporstat and measure in ounces and not in psi.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right, power's back on. Our low water light condition is present. So the low water cutoff is sensing that low water condition. All right, 15 psi relief valve.
They put the starter motor in the valley. The lift is off, so you got to pull the whole intake system off to get and change your starter. Very convenient for packaging something. But oh man, now you just added about 8 hours onto your repair job.
Yeah.
I don't do them anymore. I refer them to it.
I hear you.
It's always along the line. The old dog does my little tricks. Some involved, give it to someone else.
Sometimes new dogs can't learn tricks.
Ain't that the truth? Seems like a common denominator as well.
Yeah. I hear you. All right. The white little sticker came off, but we have a 15 psi relief valve. Cleaned threads. Time for the surgeon.
You want a drop light?
Okay.
Anything with cell phones to do.
All right, just so you know, you are missing a piping called a drip leg on the relief valve. Just so you know.
So just
No, so if it ever were to discharge at pressure, it's going to shoot out just out of the side. So I'm going to point it towards like that side wall here.
Sure. So you want to have like a catch bucket or something?
Oh no, you don't have a drip leg on it, so you would need a piping arrangement to have it point to the floor. But again, I'm not. Yeah. Let's fire up the boiler and watch it feed water automatically. So this boiler was manufactured in July of 2017. Did you have another one between Sandy and then the original one, and then finally they replaced it for you? Yeah.
Yeah, the one that was in here since it went underwater.
Okay.
We just replaced. Might have been a while, for all I know.
Yeah, at times it's whatever.
McLean, I think.
Yeah, good boiler. Yeah. I've been working on this shipping screw. Just needed a little impact driver to get it out. No one ever took that screw out before. So I'm going to take these burners out. Let's make sure she fires up. There's pilot, followed by main burner. Make sure she fully is open. It's a step opening valve. And there you go. There's main burner opening. Full ignition. Beautiful. All right, let's get a brush and brush that one. You may think I'm nuts, but you watch and see how beautiful these things look when I'm done. Why can't it be like McLean and be so easy to put in? Oh, it's because they're different. Oh, I missed that one completely. There we go. Don't worry. I'm gonna put some light on it, and you'll see how beautiful this combustion chamber looks in just about 10 seconds or so. I just jinxed myself. Get in there. You ready? Here we go. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful this burner compartment is, aka combustion chamber. Beautiful. All right, while I'm waiting for the boiler to heat up, I'm placing valve tags on the important valves in the home. Gas for boiler, gas for water heater, boiler water supply, water heater supply. I get my valve tags from Footbridge Media Printing. They're in, I think, Sarasota, Florida, somewhere in that area of Florida. Check it out, Footbridge Media Printing. Okay, let's fire up our flue gas analysis for natural gas. Okay, O2 is right for ambient, and our ambient temperature is around 74 degrees. Let's put that in there. All right, this is the diverter. So we want that exhaust gas to be analyzed as it leaves the boiler before it gets mixed with the combustion air and drafting air to go up the chimney. All right, so earlier I was showing you numbers for Pressuretrol and, if needed, Vaporstat. Let me show you now the numbers for combustion analysis for an atmospheric venting boiler. Stack temperature between 325 and 500 degrees, O2 between 4 and 9%, CO2 6.5 to 8%, and CO less than 50. Now we're not really creating steam yet, but
We're at 385 and climbing, 6% of O2, 38 parts per million of carbon monoxide, and 8.35% of CO2. We could probably do better with this. All right, the battery died, so we're starting the process over again with it plugged in. All right, let's clipboard these results, and let's do draft. Let that zero out.
What are we basically checking? Efficiency of burn?
Yeah, in so many words, yeah. Make sure you're not going to die. Yeah, something like that.
We do have a couple of them around the house. Fortunately, I've been Baseboard.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay. All right, let's print.
In spite of what everybody thinks, you can always make it.
Actually, this doesn't like to go on there, does it? Because you're
No,
missing.
it doesn't like to fit real good.
Yeah, because there's 2 screws are missing. That's why.
Of course. That's,
Yeah. That's exactly why.
yeah, when you have that can't be bothered.
Yeah.
What are they, sheet metal screws?
Yeah.
Let me take a look at just see how big they are. Man,
Yeah, a little tiny flat, tiny head.
5/16 on it.
Yeah, if Phillips would be better. Like a small, low profile, low surface screw would be better.
The hobbyists all have their own people.
Okay. All right. Take a look at the boiler and the knee boiler piping with a thermal camera, and we are good.
Go business?
Yes, I'm one of the owners.
Good for you.
So this cast iron.
I'm sorry.
So this cast iron heating element, you say, is not putting out any heat. Well, the valve was almost closed, but also the way it's piped in. By the way, the packing nut is leaking. We could tighten that up, but the way it's piped in is very suspect as well. But let's tighten this up, and now that the valve is open, and hopefully we'll stop dripping. Oh, look at that. Cool.
Completely blown out with a lot of heat. It does produce heat, and it probably. Do you get cold in here?
It's heating up.
Doing what it's supposed to.
Yeah. And last but not least, this cast iron radiator. I'm going to show you something downstairs in the bathroom, first floor. It's pretty cool. They have a pipe radiator. Smart. It works. But it's people get creative, you know, especially in small homes. But having this radiator pipe with a air valve on top that's painted over, by the way, and probably not doing anything, but the fact that it's heating this bathroom efficiently is pretty cool. I love that stuff. Comes out of the ground right from the boiler. And what's that, ma'am?
Valve doesn't need to be replaced?
I'm not touching it.
Okay.